All right, we back in here. You already know who it is. Asharenu. We come here on this 22nd day to discuss the principles of the number 22. So we're going to give it a little bit of time, let the people come in, and we're going to get straight to it as quickly as possible. You already know. So once again, we got notes. What's up, Dank Wizard? What's the deal? What's the deal? So we're going to get up to at least 10 people, let 10 people come in, sit down. We'll start immediately. But before we even go in, let's build on today's mathematics. What's up, G-Star? What's up, Mystic, Apex, Deity? What's up, Sharice? Born on 22nd February. All right, so let's build on the mathematics. What's up, Moon Spirit? So while everybody coming in, let's build on the mathematics. So today is the 22nd day. So we know that the 2 represents wisdom in supreme mathematics. So we have 22. We also know that 22 is the 22nd letter in the alphabet, which represents V. V represents victory. So let's put all this together. So as we know, when we deal with 2 in the supreme alphabet, it can either be B or born. So the number 2 in the supreme alphabet can either be B or born. When you break down B, B-E, you get the number 7. When you break down born, you get the number 4. Now, when we look at number 7 and number 4, we have Rahu and Ketu, which on the surface appears to be opposites. Rahu is all about worldly ambition. We talked about Rahu yesterday. And Ketu is more about being dedicated to your spirituality. Excuse me. So on the surface, Rahu and Ketu are polar opposites. But the deeper and deeper you go into the science, you realize that the contrasts complement each other instead of separate each other. Instead of the illusion of separation, Ketu is over here, Rahu is over here, this is number 4, this is number 7. They are polar opposites. The deeper and deeper you go into the mysticism, the esoteric, you see that they actually complement each other. And that goes for any type of contrast, right? So again, I see everybody coming in. So we got 10 people, so we're going to start the message. What's up, Healthy Vibes? What's up, Ashley Murphy? I see everybody in, so we're going to go in. So we just wanted to build quickly on the mathematics, but we can take it a step further because we know the 22nd letter, V, victory. How does one obtain victory? Internally as well as externally. Well, you have to be and born your beingness. What does that mean? So we know that B represents the internal realm, born represents the external realm. So when you are borning something, you are manifesting something. We know that we're working with the external. When we're talking about the beingness, to be yourself, we're talking about the internal. So the internal organization as well as the external organization will bring victory every single time. It's simply all about organization, as we're going to get into as we get into the video, which we get into right now. So the title of this video is called Numerology Master Number 22. Now the first thing is, why is 22 the number of the master builder? Because you have 3 master numbers. Depending on which system you study, sometimes you have 4 master numbers, but we'll deal with the three master numbers. You have the master number 11, you have the master number 22, and you have the master number 33. 11 represents you can say, the sound or the awakening. When the knowledge, or what you can say, anything, when the channel is first received, you can say 11 represents the receiving of wisdom or information. Once the information has been received, now you have to build a structure or a house, something to house or house the information or the structure that has been received. So it needs a house, it needs a body, it needs a vessel It needs a temple, whatever you want to call it. So the information that has been received now needs a temple. And once you construct a temple for yourself, now we go to the number 33, which is a number of the master teacher. And that's when you start to spread the teachings based on ancient wisdom. So we see the number 11 represents receiving the information. Number 22 represents the building of the house or the building of the temple. 33 represents being able to spread the word through the temple, right? And we know that the temple is the body, and especially in this example. So we know the master builder represents mastery over the human body, or mainly the hands. Now, what makes somebody a master builder? What is a master builder? Now, the master builder is all about alteration. How do I turn these bricks into a home? So let's just say you have 1,000 bricks sitting somewhere. You know what I mean? Whatever. You have 1,000 bricks. You have to figure out, how do I turn these 1,000 bricks into a home? And we know, in order to turn these bricks into a home, which is basically an organized or an arranged structure or a temple, to use these bricks, which come from the natural resources of the earth, to utilize these bricks to create a temple, then we have to utilize our ability to alter. You know, as some people construct altars in your home, it's the same that when you actually construct actual altars or actual temples. How do you do this? You have to utilize mathematics. There's an emphasis on mathematics. Remember, mathematics breaks down to the number 4. Since we're dealing with the number 22, 2 plus 2 equals 4, there's an emphasis on mathematics. So, of course, we know that there's a process. You have to first level the field. Because if you try to build a structure on an uneven field, it's going to fall. So you got to first level the field. After the field is level, you have to take your measurements. Well, how big is a bedroom going to be? How big is a kitchen going to be? How big is a bathroom going to be? How big are the closets going to be? So on and so forth. You have to now take measurements. Then you have to actually measure out on the ground, meaning put the bricks in the proper arrangements based on the measurements. Then you have to utilize what helps the bricks stick together, the cement. You have to have mastery of the cement so it doesn't overflow, or it's not too little. So it's a process, as we all know. It's a process towards building a home. It takes, it can take a short time or a long time depending on how big or how small. But we know that in order to turn these bricks, which if we just let the bricks sit there, it doesn't mean anything, because yesterday we talked more about the number 8 and how to alter time. So yesterday's video was more about altering time, and I briefly spoke about the number 4, which was about altering the body or altering the physical reality. So this is the reality of the number 4, where you utilize mathematics. Okay, how do I turn these bricks into a home? So somebody who's a number 4, or who wants to work with the energy of the number 4, or who wants to work with the energy of Rahu, this is basically what Rahu helps you to achieve. Okay, how do I take these base metals and make them into gold? How do I turn lead into gold? Or how do I turn these bricks into a home? You utilize the energy of the master builder to turn these bricks into a home, to turn the natural resources into a temple, to house the wisdom of the ancients, right? Moving right along. So when we look at master builder, we have two words. We have master, then we have builder. A master is one who is internally organized, right? And the eternal, not the eternal, sorry, the internal just represents the electric or the etheric reality. So I'll say that one more time. A master is one who is internally organized. Internal means electric or etheric reality. So a master is one who has control over their electric or their etheric reality, mastery over their aura, which is based on their vibrations, which is based on the turning of their internal wheels or their chakras. So a master is one who has achieved mastery of their 7 chakras, which has an influence over your aura, which basically is called the electric field. Or is a electric field or an etheric field, however you want to put it. Same thing. It's all ether. A builder is one who is externally organized. External meaning the matter or the solid reality or what appears to be solid. Meaning a builder has the ability to make proper measurements in order to build whatever shapes that come to their mind. So if he thinks about a house in the shape of a square, he knows how to organize the materials from the earth in the shape of a square and put everything in a certain in a certain sequence. So the master builders knows how to put into a sequence, or you can call this algorithms. A master is one who has the proper algorithms that they have created based on ancient wisdom so that they can conserve their energy and be eternally organized. The master builder utilizes the same energy that the master utilized to achieve internal balance or organization. A builder utilizes that same energy to be able to make those proper measurements and have the energy to actually build and alter those bricks into a home. So the same way the master is using the internal energy, the builder is utilizing the external energy. Right? So when we arrange matter, basically what we're saying is we give it form, right? We create a grid or we create a circuit. So a temple is a grid or a circuit, as we say, that houses ancient wisdom. So when you create a grid or circuit externally that houses the wisdom, of the ancients, now we have a grid. This is how information travels. This is how wisdom travels. Now, the ability to arrange the ether on an internal level or the chi in the sequence, this generates electricity that controls the aura or sound. So in other words, a master arranges ether in a sequence, and this ether that has now been arranged in a sequence creates sound or vibration, which alters their perception of reality and how much energy they can contain. The more energy that you can contain, the more powerful you are. So it's not necessarily how big you can get, but how much energy can you contain, right? And another example of a containment of energy, of course, is the temple. So we see that this master and the energy of the master and the energy of the builder, although on the surface they seem separate, the more and more we dig into these truths, we realize that they actually complement each other. The master builder. Let's take it further. We don't have a lot. Again, I don't want to go too deep, but let's continue. Also, when we think about the number 22, we know that there are 22 major arcana or 22 major trump cards when we study the tarot. We have 22 major arcana, we have 56 minor arcana, which makes a total of 78 tarot cards. The 22 major trumps or the 22 major secrets represent pretty much the understanding of the unseen or the symbolic universe. So the 22 major trump cards symbolize the understanding or the unseen or symbolic universe, which is basically the 7 universal laws, to simplify what that means. So the major secrets, so when we study the 22 major arcana, the major secrets, this basically brings you to the understanding or the awareness that the universe speaks in code. So the more and more we understand the coded or the symbolic or the twilight language of the universe, the more influence we're going to have over nature. We understand that we are within a universe. We are in you can say, a arrangement of melodies. Because we are in an arrangement of melodies, if we want to alter the song that's being generated or the song that's being played within our reality, if we want to alter the song, but yet keep the melodies harmonized with each other, so when we alter the song changes, but the melodies are still harmonized. If we want to change the song, yet remain harmonized, we have to tap into the energy of the major secrets or the major arcana. The major arcana teaches you how to tap into the unseen realm or the symbolic realm and influence it to the point where you know that you are influenced, you have an influence over it, and you actually see the results. So this is the secrets of the 22 major arcana, again, which just embodies the 7 universal laws, which are mentalism, correspondence, polarity, vibration, rhythm, gender, and causation, for those who may not know. And we can briefly go over these. So we know mentalism, everything is within the mind. Everything is mental. So even my voice that's being radiated, my hand moving, my eyes connecting, all this is mental. All these is controlled by mental processes. So we know that everything is mental. So it don't matter if you're talking about the physical or the spiritual. Everything is mental. Everything is happening from, you can say, a projection. We are projecting our avatar to the physical world, just like we project our avatar to the spiritual world. And the central location, or actually, because the mind isn't centralized, it's way advanced. Because most of the time, you can say with computers are like the centralization of, you can say the Wi-Fi. A Wi-Fi is technology within a laptop or a computer, because in a computer or a laptop is centralized at a particular location, but the mind isn't centralized. That's why the mind is the most supreme computer, because it isn't centralized. It can move around freely, so it has no stagnant position. It can appear to be here, appear to be there, appear to be over here. This is basically quantum physics 101. So the next is correspondence. As above, so below. The internal must reflect the external. So when we internally organize our energy, it will be reflected in our ability to apply this mathematics on a logical level. So the same way we're able to use mathematics creatively, we can use mathematics logically, again, turning the bricks into a temple, or being able to conserve your energy and have mastery over your chakras, so you can manipulate your aura, or the song that's being generated from your inner being, not your body, but your inner being. You can influence the song being generated by your inner being, which will influence, your reactions, or how people react to you, what events are manifested in your life, so on and so forth. This is all based on your inner song that's being generated based on the electromagnetic field of your beingness and your bornness, as we talked about the number 2. Next, polarity, which is duality, right? The appearance of separation. So we've been talking about contrast this whole time. But contrast, as I said, is only an illusion. Once we start seeing the separation for what it really is, it is all one universe instead of separate elements. Or you can say it's a bunch of separate elements. Basically, the universe is comprised of many, 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 many elements all working together harmoniously. So there's many, many, many elements, but they are all flowing to the same melody. Therefore, we don't focus on, the variations of the energy. We know that it's all a part of the supreme intelligence. So to connect with the source or the supreme intelligence, and you learn things from the inside out, because everything else, all atoms respond to thought. So it's thought that keeps the universe moving. It's thought that generates electricity. Therefore, it's thought that generates gravity. Our own gravitational pull is generated by our thoughts. Our whole reality is generated off of our thoughts. Thoughts turn into things, because everything is generated off of thought, because thought generates electricity. And electricity starts to generate a magnetic field. This magnetic field starts to draw things to you based on your electromagnetism. And all this is being generated from thought. And thought travels through the ethers, or the aether, or the carbon, right? Next, we have vibration. Everything moves. Although things appear to be solid, everything is vaporous. Everything pretty much can be influenced or programmed. This is essentially what vibration means. So since everything is vibrating, everything is moving, the speed that the so-called thing is moving in can be altered utilizing our mind, because again, we know that thought has an influence over the atoms and can rearrange the structure of carbon. So whenever we want to rearrange things, we have to alter its vibration or its speed or its rate of generation is always is sound moving so fast that it creates light, and that light creates a projection or image that we can perceive with our eyes. So in order to alter the sound, this is another way of enchantment or programming. Program your mind or to enchant something. I talked about that maybe 2 videos ago. So in order to do this, you have to alter the vibration, either speed it up or slow it down. So next, we have rhythm. This is cycles. So this is the next thing we're going to talk about anyway. So we have time, then you have cycles, meaning you have the 24-hour clock, then you have the 12 constellations of the zodiac that we move through. Just like, we say that we're in the age of Aquarius, but before the age of Aquarius, we were in the age of Pisces. Before we were in the age of Pisces, we were in the age of Aries, so on and so forth. And you go through the whole zodiac. So we have time on the 24-hour clock, but then we have time with the 12 zodiac, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Then we have gender, masculine and feminine, electric and magnetic, meaning these are the energies that everything manifests through the vessel. The vessel will either be masculine or feminine, electric or magnetic. And when the two come together, it creates electromagnetism. And from that electromagnetism, it generates life. Life is generated off of electromagnetism, meaning the thought that generates the electricity, then the electricity generates a magnetic field. That magnetic field starts to draw things to you in accordance with the song that's being played, which is being pretty much generated by the thought. And the thought sparks everything into motion, which gives everything life. All right, so that's the rhythm. The rhythm represents the cycles. No beginning, no ending, or beginning, middle, ending. Everything has a cycle. So we have smaller cycles. So you can say the body has smaller cycles, but then you have greater cycles. So you got the macro and the micro. So you got the macro and the microcosms. So you got the cycles within the human body, then you got the cycles in the greater universe, right? So that's all controlled based off of rhythm. So we talk about rhythm, gender, then lastly causation. Every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause. So because we talked about electromagnetism, that's basically what it's talking about. Meaning our thoughts actually do respond or actually do have an influence on matter. Although it may not appear to be so at first. But most people just don't study the process of manifestation fully and thoroughly. Because if you knew what you was thinking about 21 days ago at 2 o'clock, what you were trying to manifest 21 days ago at 2 o'clock, when it actually did manifest, it may have took 21 days. But if you were studying the process from start to finish, instead of doubting that it works or having confidence that it works, we tend to alter sometimes. Our focus tends to get scattered at times, just from the happenings of the hurricanes and the chaos of the earth. But if we stay focused fully for that 21 days, we will fully be able to observe how thoughts become things or become things. But again, most of the time we get swept into the chaos of the happenings of the world. So instead of us paying attention, we begin to doubt, like, is it working? Is it working? Well, you would know if it was working or not if you stay focused or concentrated in your meditation. So we can observe how sound becomes matter if we stay in a meditative position. Not just a position in terms of like a half lotus or a full lotus, but in a meditative state throughout our day. So it don't matter. It's the difference between somebody going to a job they hate. It's the difference between somebody going to a job that they hate going to versus somebody else's job is their playground. The only difference is the person that hates the job is generating this energy because they feel like they don't have control. They feel like they're helpless. They feel like they can't do anything. So because this is the song that's being vibrated or the frequency that's being emitted, because that's how they feel internally, then that's being reflected in they have to do things that they hate versus this other person is not at the job for the money. They can care less about the money. In their mind, they're going to work like I go to have a certain experience. Meaning I'm going to go here and exercise the influence of my mind. I just so happen to get paid. That's just like a after effect. But that's not what I'm doing. See, it's all about a certain perspective. But if you have the feeling that this is what you have to do, you have to be here, this is your duty, you have no other choice, you're helpless, you're stuck, then it's going to generate a particular energy versus, all right, let me go here, let me play around with my mind. Let me see how strong and influential my thoughts are. So my job, or that temple of influence that I go to, that I give my time to on a daily basis, this becomes my temple. This becomes my playground. This shows me how strong my influence is and how powerful my thoughts are. These are reflected in this area. So this becomes my playground, and that's how I treat it. And I just get a paycheck every month for exercising my thoughts, versus I just get money to pay bills. It all depends on the mentality, right? So now we're gonna keep things going here. So I talk about mathematics, right? But what is mathematics? Mathematics can be represented as ancient wisdom. Now, what is wisdom and what makes wisdom ancient? Now, that which is ancient can be said to be futuristic at the same time, because you can say, as it was in the beginning, so it shall be in the end. So you can say how the ancients thought is how we're going to think in the future anyway. We're going back into ancient thought in the future, if that makes sense. So in the future, we're going to be thinking more ancient, because the future and the past are actually one and the same. Again, instead of them being two polarities or two dualities, they're actually one and the same. There is no separation. So it all depends on how deep the layers you have peeled back within the matrix, right? Next, so what is wisdom? You can say wisdom is your words, ways, and actions, right? But my definition of wisdom is internal and external weight. Internal and external weight, meaning words that have weight on them, actions that have weight behind them, ways that have weight, meaning something that's able to influence a person internally and externally, meaning they're able to hear the voice of wisdom that makes them want to change their ways. So wisdom is pretty much has the power or the weight to influence a person internally as well as externally. So wisdom gives anything weight. So when something is based in wisdom or something is based in truth, it gives that thing weight, and that weight has the ability to alter things, make you want to be a better person, make you want to go harder, make you want to take certain things more seriously, or vice versa. It all depends on the root of the wisdom, because one source of wisdom may say be saintly, while another source of wisdom may say, be demonic, because we are one and the same, right? There is no difference between the light and the dark. So it's not that they contradict each other, they actually complement each other, because we have to mix the light with the dark in order for anything to come to existence. We have to be mixing the thought with the dark matter, the electricity with the magnetism, the masculine with the feminine. You got to be mixing the light and the dark. There is no separate. You can't keep the negativity over here and keep the positivity close to you. You must have the atom fully. You must have the electron, you must have the proton, and you must have the neutron. You must have the positive charge, the negative charge, and the neutralizer that stabilizes the positive and the negative charge in order for it to be stabilized. So once the negative and the positive charge is stabilized, now the atom can behave like an atom is supposed to behave and be able to, you can influence the atom with your thought. It responds to thoughts. All right. So we're almost done here. We're almost done. Now, as I alluded to earlier, wisdom is older than time. What do I mean? Because what makes something wisdom? Wisdom means it predates the current cycles. So again, you can say we're in the age of Aquarius. Wisdom could have been around in the age of Pisces and still be relevant today, because wisdom predates whatever age we in. You can have wisdom all the way, let's just say, from the age of Leo, which was thousands and thousands of years ago. It can be wisdom that they follow during those times that's still wisdom in these times, because wisdom is older than time itself, because time is a creation. So wisdom existed before time even existed. So therefore, wisdom predates time, or wisdom represents the greater cycles. So you have the 24-hour clock, which is where most people base their reality off of the 24-hour clock. But wisdom, again, is based on the grander clocks, or the greater clocks, or the cycles of the zodiac. The truth that's able to predate, and it lasts beyond time. It was here before time, and it will be here after time. Or basically, once we renew our time, once we reset time, whatever we choose to do with time. Right? So you can say it transcends duality. Time transcends duality. This is the difference between thinking in ages and thinking in years. Somebody may ask you, how old are you? Right? Somebody may ask, how old are you? But how many people ask your age? We don't really ask people, what is your age? You say, how old are you? Then when you respond in years. I'm 21, 31, 81, 101, whatever. You respond in years. But if somebody was to ask, what is your age? That's a little different, because when you ask somebody, what is your age? It's like kind of asking, how old is your soul? It's a whole different energy. Well, that's why that question isn't asked more so than how old are you. But maybe we should ask, like, what is your age? What age are you from? What time are you from? See, now we start to dig a little deeper into the soul. But let us continue. So, since we're now talking about the planets and astrology and the zodiac, the planet that generates wisdom, or the planet of wisdom, is Jupiter. Jupiter represents the major secrets, versus Venus represents the lesser secrets. Or in other words, because Venus represents the lesser secrets, or the earthly secrets, Jupiter represents the greater secrets, or the universal secrets, or the extraterrestrial secrets, which is, again, this is why wisdom predates time and will exist after time. So Venus deals with time and, the creation of earthly realm, versus Jupiter that deals with the extraterrestrial, or the cycles of the zodiac. So this is a planet Jupiter. Planet Jupiter is the planet of wisdom. So the planet Jupiter deals with fortune, right? So when we go into the tarot, the energy that represents the planet Jupiter is the fortune card, right? When we know that fortune deals with destiny and fate. So when people go to get their fortunes told from fortune tellers, this is what a fortune teller is. A fortune teller just deals with the greater cycles. So they're not basing the information off of the 24-hour clock. They're basing the information off of the ages. That's what a true fortune teller is. So a true fortune teller isn't just telling, okay, this is how you're going to get wealthy. This is what happened in your past life. This is where you're going. It goes beyond these basic questions. A true fortune teller deals with destiny and fate, and how you can alter. It's not these things that are already set in stone, but we are writing our history as we go along. So therefore, we can influence our destiny and our fate. But again, most people don't realize that they can do that, because they may be on a lesser plane, dealing with all this Venus energy. But you can alter your destiny and fate, versus, how much money can I generate? What type of car am I driving? What neighborhood am I living in? All that is necessary as well. So again, we're not making like the Jupiter is better or worse. We're dealing with universal versus earthly, or extraterrestrial wisdom versus earthly wisdom, which changes on a daily basis, versus the wisdom that you can say takes about 10,000 years to change, or 21,000 years to change, or 26,000 years for those who understand that lingo. So from there, that's the wisdom of the number, master number 22. So there you go. So we came bright and early. You know what I mean? So 35 minutes. I see somebody left a $5 donation. Let me see. Well, let me just go down. I'm going to go down the comments. So that's some Lego movie shit. What's up, Rob? Peace, peace. What's up, Jory? Jory left a $5 super chat. I appreciate you, bro. We definitely going to get the reading in a few days. You know what I mean? So definitely, what's up, Young? What's up, Meta Man? What numbers can Aquarians use? Aquarians can use whatever numbers they want to use. It just all depends on what type of energy you want to work with. You can use whatever energy you want to use. You will be in LA 13th of August into the 21st, in Vegas on the 21st. 21st. Would love to meet you. All right, send me an email, bro. asharenu.com. Just hit me up in the email. What's up, Gold Star? I see Gold Star left a $9.99 super chat. I appreciate that, bro. Cash App, yeah, I have a Cash App. Cash App, the money sign, asharenu. So if you want to hit the Cash App, I appreciate it. Are reptilians real? Well, if reptilians are real, then it would be us. We would be the reptilians. We would be the aliens. Like, all these aliens just represent different energies from the star constellations which manifest within us. So on a macrocosm, you can say reptilians are from certain star constellations, but on a macrocosm, you can say it's us. We are the representations of that reptilian energy on the micro level. Let me see. So I see the correspondence is ZB. What's up, Ren? All right, so let's see where we at with it. Okay. So again, if anybody have any questions, we'll get up out of here. So again, we're gonna come with the daily information. We're just building. These are just things I'm drawing up real quick. Taking notes. Just drawing up real quick. Master number 22. Again, I did a video on the number 23, so I probably won't speak about the number 23. I already did a video on 23, so I probably have to draw it up and talk about something completely different. But definitely, let me see. What do you think about animal telepathy? Animal telepathy is good. So if you have the art of communicating with animals, definitely do your best to perfect that, because they can always offer wisdom, because they're all over the earth. Animals are all over the earth, so you can always tap into their frequencies, and they can always, be good guides for you if that is your gift. Yeah, you already know we got to get the cash, man. Get the cash flow. What about tree telepathy? It's the same thing. Trees are all over this planet, so the greater you are at telepathy, so that you can communicate with animals, you can communicate with trees, you can communicate with the elements of nature, you can communicate with elementals. The greater your telepathy, then the greater advantage you have over opportunities. When people who are good opportunists can connect and communicate with elemental forces that tell them, like, yo, go over here, look over here, look over here. These are spirits that are guiding people, that are finding money, that are meeting certain people, and certain events are being influenced. So a lot of times it be telepathy. We just don't see it as telepathy, but telepathy has a major part to play when it comes to thought and mind and mentalism, and psychic abilities, so that's definitely has a huge part to play, whether we realize it or not. Yeah, definitely peace to ODB, no doubt. So again, just striving to bring some understanding, just to encourage people to study the intelligence behind the numbers. All numbers have an intelligence, all numbers have a frequency. So it don't matter what day it is, it don't matter what hour it is, it don't matter what minute it is, it don't matter what cycle we're in. we can always tap into these intelligent forces, and we can, the more we practice these arts, the better and better we get at identifying what's what, and the better we are at identifying what's what, the better we can specifically work with certain energies and direct our forces into, okay, I want to work with this constellation or that constellation or this planet or that planet or this chakra or that chakra. So the same way we will connect with chakras is the same way we connect with the planets. Again, as above, so below. Everything is one art. It is truly one art, whether you want to call it alchemy, whether you want to call it yoga, which represents union. It is all truly one art, as above, so below. One science. So, so definitely, I see people commenting on the trees. Definitely, the trees are very alive, and the trees are like elders. So they offer that wisdom from an elder's perspective. So definitely, for all my tree heads, connect with the trees. And if you are connected with trees, then you're probably connected with fairies from the fairy kingdom, which is the elementals. So try to connect with the fairy kingdom or the elementals. You know what I mean? So the Siddhi, whatever you want to call them. So take it as far as you want to take it. Dragons are astral beings. You can say dragons are elementals as well. You can consider a dragon an elemental, but a dragon could be any of the elements, right? You can say a dragon is a mythological being as well. So you can say astral being or mythological being, but they actually do exist on, different dimensions, of course. So you can tap into the frequency of these mythological beings as well. Dragons, unicorns, again, fairies, leprechauns. All these are real frequencies that just exist on different dimensions that you can tap into that are just symbolic to certain frequencies. So, for example, obviously the leprechaun is symbolic of the gold frequency or the golden currency. So, you know what I mean? So if you want to increase your Comhertz, then you work with the energy of the leprechaun, which generates the rainbow. So now you're dealing with snake spirits, Dambala, so on and so forth. It all just really depends on your correspondence game. You got to get your correspondence game up. That's why I encourage everybody to get your encyclopedias. Get you a encyclopedia of spirits. Get you a encyclopedia of magical herbs. Get you so you can identify. This will help you identify things when they come to you. Make sure that you have a dictionary, a dream dictionary. Be able to identify all of the animal totems, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Just learn this symbolic language. Learn the language of the soul. That will give you an advantage, spiritually, mentally, and physically. The better you are with your spiritual language, your twilight language, your lingo, you can better identify things more accurately. You can make better predictions, more accurate predictions based on, you gotta be equipped with your correspondence, you know? Exactly. Yeah, we definitely working with that tobacco spirit. I see you. What's up? What's up? How do you use sexual energy to manifest? Manifest. Check out my earlier videos, bro. Like I did like 5 videos on sexual energy, like within, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 videos back. So I took four or 5 videos, talked all about sexual energy. I got a video called The Sexual Underworld and all that. Just look back like 5 or 6 videos, maybe 7 or 8. I don't know how far it is. But I did about 4 or 5 videos talking all about sexual energy and sex magic and snake spirits and all that. Just go back a couple videos. All right. So again, we're going to get up out of here. Again, I appreciate everybody for the donations. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, we're going to be here daily. It may be different times daily, but we'll definitely be here daily. Check out the website, asharenu.com. Definitely whatever services you may need, definitely hit me up through the email, ash@asharenu.com, and we'll be back. You know what I mean? So, Killmonger from Black Panther. Well, you already know we definitely working with that Panther spirit. We definitely working with the cat. So, definitely, for all my Panther tribe. Shout out to the Panther tribe. Shout out to the Snake tribe. Shout out to the Scorpion tribe. Again, much shout out to the Leos. We're in the time of Leos. You know what I mean? Special shout out to the Leos. You already know. So, I may be back at y'all later on today, or I may hit you up tomorrow. It all depends on what y'all want to talk about. So, Hotep, we out. Salute.